You back, you're a journalist. What's your view on the Hamas denials? People like Daniel feel very strongly Benjamin Netanyahu pinned the blame on Hamas.
Well, Hamas, as we all know, denied that they have any involvement in this kidnapping and killing of the 3 Israeli teens. I cannot speak for Hamas, but you have to understand and you have to put this into context, that there are 5,800 Palestinian prisoners, and many Palestinians, especially those who have prisoners inside Israeli jails, are very frustrated, feel that there's no way to get their sons back home except through a prisoner exchange. And that has been the norm in the past. That has been the norm pretty much everywhere in the world. Prisoners are released in exchanges. You will not find many people criticizing the kidnapping, though the way it turned out, many people have criticized this last operation. It turned out very bad, very ugly. It was a very bad idea in the minds of many. Because the teens were killed, and it brought down, it brought about a large Israeli operation in the West Bank and in the Gaza. But it's all, you have to put it all in the context of this conflict. The Palestinians have been trying to have a state since the days of the British Mandate, and ever since they have been in conflict with the British Mandate, with the Jewish movement, the Jewish nationalist movement, going through the 1948, the Nakba, the expulsion of 600,000 Palestinians out of Palestine, and now they're in refugee camps in Jordan, in Lebanon, in Syria, and then the subsequent wars, and then the Oslo Accords, and 20 years of talk without concrete results on the ground in terms of a Palestinian state. The Israelis and much of the international community, the Palestinians, feel that they're trying to bring about an economic peace, but not a Palestinian state. There's a big idea inside the Israelis that Palestinians are only looking for jobs and economic welfare and economic well-being. This is not the case. They're looking for freedom. They're looking to have an independent Palestinian state. If Israel is not willing to withdraw from the 1967 borders, then maybe many Palestinians feel that there should be talk about a binational state, because Israel...
Ibrahim, I'm just going to stop you there because you can't see it, but Daniel has been shaking his head for the last couple of minutes, and this is a conversation, so I do just want to bring Daniel back in.
Sure, thank you. I think it's a little preposterous. The Nakba is actually the recognition of the Arab failure to commit a genocide of Jews, okay? When we talk about the foundation of the state of Israel, Israel stood ready for there to be a Palestinian state established side by side. And when you talk about Palestinian society renouncing this brutal kidnapping and murder of these innocent children, that's simply untrue as well. Because what happened is you had Palestinians in the street handing out candy and cake, celebrating it, saying, "We've got 3." This is not a society that has rejected it. The mother of one of the alleged kidnappers said that if her son did it, she's proud. She then said that she's going to raise his sons to be martyrs for jihad. This is not a society that has proven that it stands ready for peace. And we're talking about real peace. Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli public are ready for real peace. Not a land for peace where they give peace in hopes that it will become a productive country standing side by side, but rather a peace made between 2 peoples that stand ready to uniformly renounce any form of brutality. And if this last incident is any indication, it's simply untrue. When the IDF rescued the limp corpses of the murdered children, Arabs pelted the ambulance with stones.
Dorgum, your views there from Gaza?
I'll just respond to Daniel's input before I address your questions. First of all, Daniel, I'm not going to go ahead and give you a lesson in history, but I'll go ahead and only point out that we've all seen the rather disgusting incitement campaign that had begun yesterday, and we've seen many, many of those from the Israeli society. And I am not going to go ahead and argue with you, they did that, we do that, they did that, we do that. I'll only say it takes two to tango. You want some Palestinians to renounce violence, I want Israelis to renounce occupation. There is no question about that. You want Palestinians to recognize some rights that have not, of Israelis that they have not recognized yet. I want Israelis to recognize my own rights as well. It takes two to tango. You know it, I know it, many people know it. It's just problematic enough that we seem to forget. Until then, it's just not, we're not going to progress enough. We'll remain stuck, you with your own views, mine with my own views, and history will go on. I'm concerned with the innocent Palestinian children who wake up, maybe flip on the TV, and have incitement and are encouraged to hate Jews. That's in the Palestinian Authority television. It's proven. It's online. You can go find it. How do we stop that, Dorgan? How do we stop that?
Yeah, how do we stop a society that appears to be indoctrinating youth? Where are the human rights of the children? Don't the children have a right to decide whether or not they want to hate Jews and hate Israel?
Let us not use unrealistic words here and unrealistic expressions. I do not particularly believe that children are capable of hating, period, let alone hating Jews as such. But
there are children suicide bombers.
I think the problematic of what you are saying is that you are just generalizing. You're talking about a society as a whole. Now, that's what I take issue with. I grew up in the Gaza Strip my whole life, Danielle. I haven't grown up to hate Jews or Israelis or anyone who is different from me. I have not. I can tell you that I've watched the same television channels you're talking about. Here I am talking to you. So it just seems to me that we ought to be a little bit more careful with discussing these issues. We know that incitement takes place on both sides. The solution to it isn't just simply pointing it out that it happens there and here. The solution to it is being committed to the idea that once we recognize it, we deal with it accordingly. Tell me, yeah, you've just pointed it yourself. Tell me, how would you want to deal with it?
Well, I think, first of all, we should work as